Angela Braniff is the creator of the popular YouTube channel This Gathered Nest, a podcast host, and a staunch adoption advocate. Angela says she came to be the mother of 8 kids through 6 adoptions, 3 pregnancies, and 1 beautifully messy life. In her new book, Love Without Borders, Angela shares how God can help us all to embrace the unexpected.
Angela, welcome to the show today.
Hi, thank you so much for having me.
Leading up to your story, you always felt like you had to kind of, I guess we all do this, check the boxes off of what was going to make us happy and whether we were on the road to that, whatever we've dreamed. What were those boxes for you?
Yeah, I think I grew up like a lot of girls, young girls, believing that the boxes looked like getting married, having, 2 kids, a home, and sort of the white picket fence, American dream kind of life.
So what made you throw away that checklist?
Honestly, it was the Lord. It was this feeling that I had growing up that perhaps my life wasn't going to look like everybody else's, but I didn't really know why I couldn't settle in to this dream that everyone else seemed to want to achieve. But God had just really put it on my heart that He had something different for me, and it would take some time, but He finally would reveal to me that my life probably just wasn't going to look like the standard, typical path.
In your book, you use the phrase "Kol de Mama Daka." What does that mean, and why is that important?
Yeah, that phrase comes from the Bible, and it's a story about Elijah, but it's really, to me, a story about how we hear God. And God doesn't come to Elijah in this great fire or wind, but He comes to him in this small silence, in this just quiet. And so for me, that's sort of a lesson on how I've learned to lean in and listen to God and what He has to say to me in the quiet, and sort of shutting out the noise of the world.
Mm-hmm. You and your husband had 2 beautiful daughters, and a lot of people would have said, well, here we are, the 4 of us, this is it. And then God began to speak to your heart about adoption. Your first experience adopting Noah, what was that like?
Yeah, it was a life-changing experience for me. Once God kind of opened my eyes and sort of really burdened my heart for children, and going to Africa and adopting my son, and it just completely changed my life. I talk about it in my book, but my life is very much split into these 2 halves, before my time in Africa and after, because God really used that time to speak to me, to open my eyes to things I had never known about before, and to really change who I was as a person.
Mm-hmm. You had difficult pregnancies because you have a fairly rare condition. Your first 2 daughters, difficult pregnancies, and then you even struggled with infertility. What was that all like, and what did God do in you through the process?
Oh, that was those journeys are truly some of the most refining times of my life, where I felt like it was a lot of faith challenging moments, where I felt like I was really having to sort of almost butt heads with God and say, I don't understand why you're not doing this. And you say that children are a blessing, and am I a bad mom? When I was struggling with secondary infertility, I would question if I was a bad mom, and that's why He wasn't giving me any more children. There were so many faith stretching moments for me in those journeys. But really it helped me to see that God uses all of these things, these highs and the lows, to write these stories for us that are so unique and beautiful. And I have so much appreciation for my children and what it took to get them into my home because of those hard times.
You have an incredible story about how God really was faithful with all your children, but especially Rosie. Share that.
Yeah, her story is one I love so much because God had just put it on my heart years before that I had a daughter, another daughter, and He was very clear with me that her name was Rose. And so when we went through 2 adoptions for our son Noah and Jonah, obviously I started to think, okay, maybe I misunderstood God. Maybe I was hearing Him incorrectly. And then years later, he brings this little girl into our life, and her name was Rose, and she shared a birthday with me. There were so many little signs that all came together to converge on this moment that was so clear that he was saying, here's your daughter. This is who I have for you.
Yeah, God's timing is so different than our own most of the time. Well, you have a mantra in your house. Will you tell us what it is and why it's so important to your story?
Yeah, we years ago just kind of started saying hard isn't always bad. I think that sometimes in our minds, those two words are synonymous when really they're very, very different. Something can be hard, but so beautiful and so good. And I think that that's what I always want to convey to people is that, of course, I have 8 children and I homeschool and I work, and life is it's not easy. There's a lot of really hard things, but there's so much beauty on the other side of those hard things, and they're worth it.
It's usually where we grow and where God gets to do something special in us.
Absolutely.
I want to say the book is wonderful. Angela's book is called Love Without Borders. It's available wherever books are sold. It's full of inspiration for you as a mom, a dad, but also inspiration in your walk with the Lord. Angela, thank you so much for being with us. Your family's wonderful.
Thank you.
Hello, I'm Gordon Robertson. Thanks for watching the video. Be sure to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell for more encouraging videos like this one. Welcome to the 700 Club Interactive family, and God bless you.